camera I'm going to talk about today is Chinon. Chinon was a big camera manufacturer, Japanese based, but in the UK Chinon were solely sold by a company called Dixons. Dixons was a very large retailer, high street retailer, that were eventually merged with Currys. Now, but in the rest of the world, I think you found very much cameras with the Chinon name could be sold anywhere. This camera, the CP-7m, was also sold under the Review name. Now, it's a camera I found on eBay, and I had them before, but I don't think I had ever used one. And when I was looking on eBay, I thought, what an interesting looking camera. And I then looked at some reviews and thought, this is even more interesting. I remember it coming out in about 1986, at a time when automatic apertures and program modes were very much the fashion. And this camera has a lot of those things on it. It has a zoom lens of 70 to 35mm, and we have a macro option on that lens, which is very useful. We have, to load the film, it's really nice and easy. We open the camera at the back here. We have DX coding, so we don't have to worry about our film speed. The camera loads automatically. It takes 4 AA batteries, so really nice that we don't have difficult batteries to have to buy. It takes very bog standard batteries, which is nice and convenient. It's got a motor ride, and the on switch here we see lock. We've got single shot and continuous, so that's nice and straightforward. We have ME for multiple exposure, which was quite popular at the time, and I can never really understand why, but yes. A slight downside is this rubber seal here. The idea is you can then see your film and what type of film you have, but this can disintegrate. And I ended up, bit of a long story, but ended up with 2 bodies. This one needs the seal replacing the other. Well, it was one of those situations. I bid on a camera on eBay, then another one came along, buy it now, and it was such a reasonable price. I bought it now and ended up having 2 cameras. As I said, getting back to the camera, multiple exposure. But the key thing about this camera is this little display here, and here we see we've got a P, a M and a B. And the A is for aperture priority, so we set the aperture and the camera automatically sets the shutter speed for us. We've got a M for manual, and then we have a P for program. Now, what is fascinating about this, we have actually 3 program modes. We have a program where it takes the highest shutter speed possible. It has a P when it takes the highest aperture possible for depth of field, and it for the nice bokeh effect, and a standard P. Program was a new thing, and on the Pentax program A, they had to introduce a new lens with a A on it. What's fascinating about this Chinon is it takes a standard lens, so you haven't got to use, you can use program and aperture modes without having to use a lens, which is very interesting. It's quite a heavy camera to use with the 4 batteries, but it's not too heavy. You've got a nice display on here of this is the second body, and as you say, there's the display on the top there. Slightly odd that it corresponds to the buttons on the other side, so if you press A there, it comes up with A there. And as I said, with the program, we have program C, program and program A. So you've got those three choices of program. The camera displays the shutter speed in there as well. You have a self timer. You can set your film speed yourself. To move the shutter speed, if you're in shutter speed, or if you're in manual, you simply press these two buttons here, and that is basically it. As it's a manual focus lens, so you have to do that, but apart from focusing in program mode, you just point and shoot. Let's see how I got on when I actually used this camera. I took the camera out on a late October Saturday afternoon about 3 o'clock, so the sun was moderately low, which gave us a good choice of shadows, and as you can see we've got plenty of shadows. It's almost the golden hour. I'm not using a yellow filter, however the clouds have come out quite nicely. This is a little village called Wool near Dorchester in Dorset, UK, south of England, and it's quite low lying. I'm using a 100 ASA film which I have developed in ID 11. It's former pan, which is film made in the Czech Republic, and it's a really useful film. The camera I'm using mainly on program mode because I was interested to see how it would react, and it was a very easy camera to use. And the lens on this particular model is a Miranda lens, which wouldn't have been the original lens, but the Miranda and the Chinon lens I think would have been a very similar type of construction. They might even have been made in the same factory. This lens is a 35mm to 70mm zoom, so it's not the highest quality of lens or the fastest. However, as you can see on these photographs, it's performing moderately well. I think it's performing very well. It's keeping sharp at the edges. This is taken at a right angle setting, and you can get some degeneration at the edges, but on these photos it's absolutely fine. The tone is good, detail is there. The camera is so easy to use with the motor wind, with the program mode. You've got good information in the viewfinder. It is a bit odd in some senses when you look at the top, but you have got the information on the left hand side, and the information in the viewfinder is the shutter speed and the aperture, so you are well served. It's an interesting camera because lots of people would sort of spend their money on a high quality Nikon or Pentax, which is a good buy. But if you're starting out in photography, I think this is a camera that you could well look at, and if you found one at the right price, it would be well worth trying. It has got manual mode as well, and as I said in the introduction, the fact it's got 4 AA batteries makes it a really easy camera to get batteries for. I was quite surprised. I enjoyed using it. If you find a Chinon, it might be well worth buying it and having a go. A good introduction into photography. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.